Good morning and welcome to Melzworld Live. I'm Ramel Otis and we are on time. Man, yesterday was wild. So we can dive right in. Yesterday I had all the intention of sitting down and applying to 7 to 10 new jobs. That was the goal. That was the intent. The execution, however, was that the website FlexJobs offers terrible part-time options. Absolutely atrocious. You would get 80% into the process, and then right at the very end, it would have all of these kind of ridiculous demands or ridiculous questioning or ridiculous hoops that you have to jump through. Now, I get it, right? It is the employer's market right now. There's a ton of people that want jobs. There's a ton of jobs that are asking for that have basically the pick of the litter. But what they're asking for is pretty wild. I mean, I'm not going to name names, but I had a company that basically said, of our top candidates, a percentage of you will be offered the opportunity to work temporarily for a temporary pay. And then after that, we'll select from those people who we think are going to be this is a part-time job. Another one was once you got most of the way through the application process and then it jumped ship and it was like, here's 30 questions about the deep culture of our organization. Please don't hesitate and look through the social media, answer questions as if you were already working for us. And these were very like culturally, you were 100% in the company. But the idea that I would do all this work and I would prep my resume, I would align my experience with the job. The fact that, I have 20 years of customer service. The fact that I would go back and try to pull all that information, I put good resume together, and then when I start the actual application process, it's an insane hoop for part-time. It blew my mind to think that they would be, so difficult in creating an opportunity for somebody to apply. And, it makes me realize that I don't think these companies are looking for employees. I think these companies, my wife was telling me, are paying applicant tracking system called ATS, and they have to pay monthly, which means if they don't use it, they're going to have to pay for it anyway. So they're just creating a landscape of very difficult application processes, and only the most desperate, only the most zealous, only the most over-the-top potential employee will jump through their hoops of fire, their rings of fire, will write the essay and be willing to take 3 months to get into the process and go head-to-head against other employees or potential hires for the shot at getting a part-time job. They're doing it because they know that if they can get out of 1,000 applicants, if 1% of them pass through all of those hoops, they now have laying in wait 10 ultra candidates. Even if they don't need to hire them, they just have them in the wings because why not, right? Why not waste applicants' time? It's not wasting your time as an organization. You're already paying for the applicant tracking system, so why not make the barrier of entry so challenging or so tiresome or laborious that whoever does get through and ends up in your harbor is now just the perfect candidate to pick up later, with the understanding and the assumption they're not going to get a job anywhere else. So it's been, yesterday was rough, right? Because I spent the entire morning banging my head against the wall looking for jobs. And once again, my qualifications and my experience is pretty in depth for what I used to do. But I'm not looking for a job that I used to do. That was the corporate world. I don't have any desire to service CEOs anymore, right? I have no desires to bring millions of dollars to your organization. I just want to be a grunt. Put me in my little grunt spot and let me do my job so that I can focus on content, right? That was the dream, and that's still the dream. But day 2 of job search was just ridiculous. Of the 7 that I applied to on Monday, nothing back. I've applied to 1 yesterday. I have no idea where that's going to go. And now today I'm going to sit down and try to see if I can at least get back into the groove of finding jobs that I can apply for. So that's the update for the job hunt. The other thing that happened yesterday was my wife allowed a dog to wander into our garage. I guess the reasoning being that here we go. I'll grab a picture of this dog here so you can see him. He wandered into our yard and went into our garage, and then my wife went ahead and held on to him. Let me see if I can get a good picture. There we go. This guy right here held on to him for about 3 or 4 hours before we ended up bringing him to the Humane Society. Not to put him down as a shelter dog, but they have an ability to. They have a kind of a found pets part where they spend a little bit of time promoting that this animal's been discovered, where he's located, making the opportunities to get this dog easier for the person that's looking for their lost dog. So this dog, who we call Smells because he absolutely reeks, and I don't mean that in the bad sense. I don't know if you've had a friend who owned a dog and that dog had just a small, strong, like old dog scent. Well, that's when this had. He was a little French bulldog, very friendly, very calm, very chill, very demure. Oh God, I did it. But yeah, my wife just let him in with cheese, led him to a little cat carrier, which is what that little thing is that you see right here. He's poking his head out of. And then sat with him for about 3 or 4 hours while we promoted that he was missing, and put it on Nextdoor. We put it on Facebook. We talked with other neighbors, and yeah, basically just put him out there. And then the plan was to bring him to the Humane Society, and hopefully after we did our kind of campaigns, we would then have him. The Humane Society promote him, and he'd get found. Good news is, right as soon as we left, right, we put the dog with the Humane Society. We were driving. The owner called. So we called him Smells, but his name is Luke, and he hopefully has been reunited. Now here's where the story gets interesting. When my wife took him to Petco for a chip read, because if you own a dog, there are 2 things or pet, like a dog or a cat. There's 2 things you really should do. Number 1, you got to get them chipped, right? You put a little chip under their skin, and from that point on, no matter if they get lost, if somebody scans that chip, immediately all the information of that dog, where they live, their owner, a phone number, all that stuff, I believe is on that chip. And number 2, you gotta neuter your dog. Like, you gotta neuter your, and what is it? Spay and neuter your dogs and cats. Rest in peace, Bob Barker. But the price is right. And this dog, neither. It was an old dog. If you can see, there's that kind of grayness on his muzzle, on his not, on his face. It's an old dog. He's an old dog that didn't have a chip, and he didn't get neutered. And I'm not gonna judge, but I can speculate. And if I'm gonna speculate that this dog was a breeding dog. They bred him so that they could potentially sell these French bulldogs in the black market. And I don't know how legal that is. I'm sure it's not super illegal, but I'm assuming they didn't chip him and they didn't neuter him, obviously, so that they could use him, and they didn't chip him probably, I don't know, so that he could get lost. I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, we had Smells. We got him returned, and that yesterday was that. So another day lost in the wind as I progress forward. Okay, so let's just go ahead and go through the updates this today. I hope everybody had a good Wednesday yesterday. I did decide to not attend the YouTuber meeting, which I was planning on to. I wasn't planning on it. I was on the fence, and let me explain why. I've been to 2 of them out of the 3 that have happened in the last 3 months, and I've never walked away from one with a good contact. I've never walked away from, well, okay, that's not fair to say, but I've never walked away from one where what I gleaned from the meeting turned around and helped me make better content. I guess that's the best way to say it. The first time I met with somebody, she was a musician, and I ended up doing a duet on her, on one of her, like, tracks that she dedicated to her mom, and that was good. That did well. But in the last 2 months, there's been no engaging communication. I mean, the site that they've shared with me that I could share my new stuff. Sorry, just got a message from Spotify. I didn't see it. I didn't see an opportunity, or any opportunities presented themselves where I could collaborate or create new content or come up with good ideas. So ultimately, if I was making an income and I could afford to snack or hang out or drink, it'd be a different story. But I didn't have any money to bring to this thing. I didn't have any reason for me to be there. So at the end of the day, it was decided, you know what, save my money and focus on what I need to do, which is get a job. So anyways, that's the YouTuber update. Okay. House, probably need to find out the status of the freezer parts. Health. Oh, I'm still recovering from my volunteer work on Tuesday. My soul is still sore. My butt is sore, which is a weird thing to say out loud in public. But I don't mean like the part that you joke about, but I mean like the glutes. And I don't even know what I did during the volunteer. Was it because I was kneeling a lot? Okay, that still doesn't sound good. I have body parts that are sore that I didn't think they would be sore after doing a volunteer work at a river. So we'll see how long it is. I always know that working out is, if you immediately get punished if you work out too hard at the beginning. Like if you work out hard, like right off the bat, like weightlifting or any type of exercise that stresses the muscles, and you do it too rigorously, you will feel the punishment instantaneously. You'll feel it the day after, you'll feel it 2 to 3 days after, and then it's almost like your body telling you, well, why did you do that? Which is funny because, working out should feel good. You're trying to extend your life by, giving your muscles oxygen and stretching them out and rebuilding it. But I swear to God, every time I've ever worked out, the next day I regret it. I regret all of it, right? And I don't know if you're supposed to have amnesia and forget it, but yeah. So now I am more healed than yesterday, but yesterday I was in a little bit of a pickle. So that's for health. Auto, got to figure out that. I know it's been 3 weeks, so I could probably follow up with the insurance company. Operation job. So I can say 3/12/2025 total rodal 1. That was brutal. No responses. No responses. Okay. So as for 3/13, the goal is 5. I think that's a reasonable goal. So hopefully we'll get there. The other thing I have to do today is take my mother to get her denture realignment. That is something that I would never have thought I would say out loud. I have to take my mother to get her dentures realigned. But long story short, my mom got dentures 30 years ago, 20 years ago, and her mouth has changed over the years. And then she went to the Philippines like 2 or 3 years ago, got cheap dentures that are terrible and made of fiberglass or some bullshit. I don't know what it's actually made of, but I can't imagine it would be fiberglass. Put that in your mouth. But we went and we saw this woman called Emergency Denture Repair, and she has her own little home office. And she recommended a dentist that said, you know what, he'll do the preliminary work, I'll do the actual denture work for the realignment. And this should allow my mom to eat normal food again. One of the biggest problem my mom has is just chewing. And so I have to get these dentures realigned. So, well, I don't have to do it, but I have to bring her to the person that will get her checked out, and then we'll get that done for an affordable price. This is the life that I live when I'm not living a curated life. It's a guy that is sore, who is frustrated with the job market, who gets interrupted by dogs, and who has to take his mom to get his dentures. So either way, it worked out for the dog. And hopefully, right? One of the things I thought about was the burden of proof, right? If this dog was being used for breeding purposes, doesn't have a chip, wasn't neutered, if they showed up to our house, we would have just handed the dog over, right? But we wouldn't have asked for ID. We'd have been like, oh, your dog's name's Luke? Cool. Peace, beans, bye. Now, that family or that person has to prove to the Humane Society that they are the owners, right? And that's a different burden of proof. So we'll see what that looks like. Actually, we won't. I'm sure my wife will call and just find out if the dog was picked up or not. And I don't know if that dog will continue to be a sire for other little dogs. So anyways, that's it for that. I'm not going to touch any projects while I continue to focus primarily on getting the job application process. So once again, that was your update, Melzworld Live. I appreciate you for popping your head in and tuning in for another daily aggregation of my struggles and challenges. This definitely isn't a video game channel. I don't spend hours doing anything specifically talented. This is for my thoughts. This is my journal. And if you stop by and listen in, you'll know that I'm still alive and well and figuring out how to get through this. I hope that I have positive news as we continue to go through this process, and then I can get back to doing what I really enjoy, which is recording and editing and making content for you, that in the form of music, in the form of videos. Anyways, I'm Ramel Otis. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a fantastic Thursday, and we'll see you on Friday. All right? Peace. The music going.